Hey, this is Jeff, and you join me outside the world map in Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition. It'd be simple to explore out here on the PC version using cheats, but I'm playing on the Xbox to prove that despite what some people have said, it is possible to get out here without using cheats or mods. New Vegas is kind of notorious for abusing invisible walls, but there's a spot near one end of Crescent Canyon where they missed one, and it's not hard at all to jump up and out. The first couple episodes, I showed off some ways to use this to the player's advantage. You can use unreachable high ground to snipe Deathclaws in the Deathclaw Promontory and eliminate most of the opposition in the Legate's camp long before the endgame battle, entirely risk-free. You can sort of do the same thing at Caesar's Fort, although the approach I found is within range of their weapons, so in that case they can shoot back. But if you decide to go on a rampage against the Legion, it's still safer than being trapped inside the fort without your weapons. The last couple episodes, I've been trying to find a way around to the north edge of the map, and I haven't found anything that gives you an advantage in the game, but we've seen some pretty cool glitches, like this, that shed light on the internal workings of the game. I hesitate to even call them glitches, because they're really just visual anomalies that arise because we're not supposed to be out here, and the things the developers routinely do to make an area playable simply aren't necessary in the areas that aren't playable. We saw that area where the landscape was discontinuous in the last episode, so I know I'm headed in the right direction. I'm having to retrace my steps because I got a little bit careless at the end of the last episode and plunged to my death. If you've played Fallout 3 or New Vegas, or even Skyrim or Oblivion, you know that Bethesda games are pretty generous about the degree of slope they'll let you descend as long as you take it slow. But if you go too fast, you'll fall, and that's what happened. I eventually need to be on the other side of this mountain to my left, and I found a spot where the slope was gentle enough to climb up, but the other side was steep enough to kill me when I started going back down. Anyway, the climbable spot was pretty obvious, so when I'm editing, I'll just fast forward the video until we're back to that spot. In fact, I'm going to drop a save here just in case the same thing happens again. We won't have to backtrack as far. Oh, mother... Oh, I hit load instead of save. Goodbye, cruel world. Oh, unbelievable. Okay, so full disclosure, I'm actually recording this the same night as the last episode, and apparently the real-life debuff is affecting my perception as well as my agility. I signed off because I could see I already had like an hour of raw footage, so I knew it'd be enough for, a full episode. But I kind of set aside the whole night for doing this, so I just took a little break and kept playing. I figured I'd get enough film in the can for another episode or two. I mean, I'm not dragging it out. It does take time to edit these and get them uploaded, but this episode will probably come out a week or two after the last one. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to curse profusely for a few minutes while my future self can mute while we fast forward back to where I've already been twice. There's the discontinuous landscape again, so we're going the right way. And I'm going to save right here because that's kind of a nice landmark. And actually hit save this time. We can save over that one. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have. If this doesn't pan out, it's too steep to get back to my last save point from here, but I think it's okay. I'm pretty sure I have another save more recent than the Legate's camp anyway, so hopefully it won't be necessary. I think I might have missed the climbable switchback that I said was too obvious to miss, but that whole slope looks pretty negotiable, which is actually good news, all things considered. Let's head over there and see. It definitely gets steeper in the distance. If I can get back on the Lake Mead side of the mountain without any tricky rock climbing maneuvers, that would be a good thing. By the way, I think I already mentioned it, but the reason I fast forward these instead of jump cutting is so you can see exactly where I'm going if you want to try this for yourself. I mean, I guess I got into the habit in episode 1 because I didn't want there to be any question that this was all legit. No cheats in the game, no splicing in PC footage in the studio to make it seem like you could do something on the Xbox that you actually can't. Though why anyone would think I'd do that was, I mean, it's not like there was a big flame war where somebody said, I know for a fact that the only way to escape the world map is with cheats on a PC, and then reputations were at stake. It's just a couple of casual comments I heard recently. Well, I mean, not that recently, like a year ago. But I figured out how to do this maybe a week after I got the game, which has been, 9 years ago? Man, time flies. Anyway, when I heard those comments last year, I was like, ooh, actually, check this out, which is why I made episode 1. And this looks very promising. If the top of this mountain is easy to navigate, then our options are open again. I'm pretty sure the Lake Mead side is where we eventually need to be, because the ultimate goal is to see if we can access anything from the north edge of the map that gives us an advantage in the game. And specifically, I'm thinking we might be able to get into Nellis Air Force Base without having to evade the artillery barrage. But if I'm wrong about which side of the mountain I'm on, like I said, being on top gives us the option of either way. So I should definitely save here. In fact, let's look at the map. Oh yeah, we're way off the map to the east, so unless that mountain cuts back on itself in a U-turn, Nellis has to be on the Lake Mead side. Beyond that, what else could you do earlier than the game expects? If you could get back on the map somewhere around the Northwest Passage, it probably wouldn't be too hard to get to the Strip, but Crescent Canyon is probably more dangerous than going that way, just going the way the game wants you to. Prim, Nipton, Novak, and up to McCarran are freeside from there. And it's definitely not a way to speedrun, because, this probably takes more than an hour to get here from there. But bear in mind, we might not be able to get back on the map at all. There were invisible walls around the lake. Whoa. Careful. There were invisible walls around the Legate's camp and Caesar's fort, which don't stop bullets. So, we could kill the Legion soldiers, but we couldn't actually get in. As far as sniping opportunities north, probably not much until you get all the way around to the eastern edge of the map. I might be able to do some sniping around Nellis itself, but I don't think I've ever done a playthrough where I didn't end up being friends with the boomers. I mean, I've probably done a Legion playthrough where I exploited them a little bit, but I don't think I've ever killed them. And most of the named characters spend all their time indoors anyway, so that definitely wouldn't give you the same kind of edge you'd get from picking off the Legion soldiers in the Legate's camp. Off the east edge of the map, you might be able to clear out the road to Jacobstown, or if there aren't invisible walls, access Jacobstown itself without even using the road. If you're planning to kill the Great Khans, maybe make your life a lot easier in Red Rock Canyon before you assassinate Papa Khan. You might be able to kill the Cazadores around the tribal village, but the main reason to do that would be to create a shortcut to the Strip, and again, this is definitely not a shortcut. And we could try to climb that and keep to the high ground, but, well, check the map. Yeah, we're almost back on the map, and I think we'd be okay to stay on the Lake Mead side. I mean, 99% sure, but if I can, I'll hedge my bets by staying on top. Assuming we can, but compared to some of the stuff that we've gotten up, I don't think this is going to be a real challenge. Nah, it's simple. We got it. Last few feet. Come on, it's rounding off. It's not as deep. There you go. Unfortunately, from up here, it looks like we do have to make a choice. I'm sure that out there isn't where we want to be, but there might be a way back up farther along to the right. There definitely isn't a way to the left. And there might not be around here either. It was all, I could see farther when we were on the other side, and there was definitely nothing climbable. This might be, though. I don't know. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I'm not feeling that. Oh, yeah, there you go. That's what I was looking for. This is perfect. And that, I'm pretty sure, is the end of the Virgin River that we were down in the bottom of in episode 3. And it looks like we actually could have walked all the way around the mountain and gotten through right down here, but oh well. Be careful walking down this slope. All right, we're definitely getting closer, and we're definitely north of Nellis where my custom marker is, so get down here without killing myself and then head more or less straight west. Yeah, I think we're safe enough. So what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, I'm counting my chickens before they hatch. There are a few obscure locations east of Route 15 between Good Springs and the Mojave Outpost. You could maybe clear out ahead of time and loot them later in safety. There are geckos in the hills around Good Springs Source, which aren't that big of a threat, but things get increasingly dangerous south of there with stuff like feral ghoul reavers in that radioactive crater. What's it called? Mesquite Crater? And then just north of the outpost, there are swarms of giant rad scorpions in the hills behind the gas station. Don't remember if there's a map marker there or if it's an unmarked location, but there's a little campground with some loot, and killing the scorpions from a safe position might let you explore it in peace. And I think over this next crest, we can probably get a better view of the Virgin River Canyon. Yeah, I'm almost certain that's the River Canyon over there. And this seems like a pretty good spot to drop another save. And just to be safe, I'm using a new slot just in case this isn't the right way. But I think once we get around the end of the river, we should be able to more or less make a beeline for Nellis. Look at this. I see power lines. I've already explained the difference between the raw landscape we're on now is different from objects the developers place in the game world. The landscape is sculptured and painted, except in places where it isn't, but it's everywhere. Oh, again, except in places where it isn't. Just watch episode 4 if you're curious. My explanation wouldn't do it justice right now. But objects, even big ones that you might think of as part of the landscape, like cliffs and buildings and roads, they're separately and explicitly placed in the game world. And those power lines are objects, which means we're almost back to a part of the map that the player can see well enough from the normally playable area that the developers put stuff there to give it detail. And if we follow them, I bet they come out at Nellis. Well, it kind of looks like they hook around to the south, so I guess they could come out more around Bitter Springs, but my money's on Nellis. I'm going to drop another save so we don't have to backtrack as far if I do something stupid like get stuck in a hole. I mean, this right here is some of the safest landscape I've been on, but as soon as we start to run into scenery objects like cliffs and boulders that you're supposed to be able to see but not walk on, sometimes there are holes and corners where you can get stuck, and the only way out is to fast travel. And we are definitely headed straight toward Nellis. And that is the Nellis perimeter fence. Excellent. That's why all this detail is out here, because you can see this area from inside the fence, which I don't know how many people ever walk all the way to the far corner of the base from the main gate, but there's a cemetery here. I think a lot of people just go visit the locations involved in their side quests, the barracks, the hangars, the solar array. But there's some other interesting stuff scattered around that you'd only see if you were exploring the base out of curiosity. And I know there's no way out of this fence, but there might be a way in if we can jump down from a nearby hillside or something. I don't actually remember if those guard towers have any loot or ammo or anything, but there are definitely some out-of-the-way locations in there that do have stuff. Oh no, invisible wall. All right. Yeah, it doesn't go very far. Yeah, I was afraid of that. They're probably there to keep you from getting out if you try to jump off one of the guard towers or something, but they'll also keep us from getting in unless we find a spot they forgot or didn't think needed one, like in Crescent Canyon. Let's try this. No. Okay. Let's try it again and not miss the jump button. And Eddie finally caught up. Nope. But I did just see a boomer, so there'd be at least some sniping opportunities if you're playing an evil character or something. Like I said, all the named characters except Raquel spend most of their time indoors, but it would be safer to get out after killing them if you didn't have to fight your way through all the unnamed, the characters on the airstrip and, the people that are just scattered around that don't have names. And the fence ends here, so no. But the invisible wall does not. And these rocks don't look like they'd be climbable from inside, but considering the thing's persistence and the occasional glitch can sometimes let you climb in Bethesda games, they probably put invisible walls around the whole base as insurance, which does not bode well for avoiding the artillery by escaping the world map, but hope springs eternal. In fact, theoretically, there might be a way to bypass the invisible walls, but I don't think I'm going to be able to test it with this particular character, unfortunately. There's a, well, it's not even really a glitch. It's just, oh, another one. Oh, all right. There we are. Yeah, the corners don't match exactly with the fence corners, but they don't seem to extend too far beyond. Anyway, the idea I had was map markers don't all have the same trigger radius. Sometimes you have to get right up to the door of a building before you get a map marker for it. But other locations you get within 100 yards and the game says, close enough, you've discovered this location. And sometimes you can exploit that. Just get close enough to add the marker to your map and then fast travel there to avoid something annoying or dangerous between the point of your closest approach and the map marker itself. Like, you can get the map marker for Prim from pretty far away, still on the west side of the overpass. Hey, Eddie, don't worry, I'm trying to find a way in there. Anyway, fast travel to the marker for Prim, and it puts you on the east side of the overpass without having to disarm the mines. If you can get close enough to add one of the Nellis map markers from outside the fence, then we could theoretically just fast travel inside. But I started this series from a save fairly late in the game, and I already have the Nellis markers, so I won't be able to tell for sure if we can get close enough. But considering the marker for the hangar is all the way over by the airstrip, I doubt that one's going to be viable. We'll see how close we can get to the front gate, or worst case, the solar array. And this, all right, that's not blocked. We might be onto something here. Yeah, the front gate's in that direction, and I was thinking if we could follow the fence all the way around, we could get to the spot where the sentry force greets you, but there's another dead end at the end of that cliff, so... unless there's a gap... Nah, there's no gap there. So, let's get back up on top and see what's around the corner. If we could get back down beside the fence on the other side of this outcrop, we might be able to make it to the front gate. Ooh, that looks like exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah, except there's an invisible wall, and that's not a good place for it either. When it runs along the edge, it's fine, but like at Caesar's Fort, there was one along the outside wall of the moat, so once you got down in, you were stuck. Just like I appear to be now. Great. And I think that road leads to the front gate. Yeah. So close and yet so far. Yeah, I think that part of the fence around the corner across from the white building is about where the gate is. Oh, guess we'll have to load that last save. All right. I'm going to get back to the far corner of the fence. I mean, the far corner from the main gate, the near corner for us right now. The one with the cemetery, I mean. And drop a save there so I can explore in either direction as far as I need to go with minimal backtracking. If I have to start over, like if I don't find anything or I get stuck in another hole. And I'm going to take a bio break. And I think I have enough footage that by the time I fast forward through any dead air or incoherent rambling, it'll probably be about right for another episode. Not that I'm trying to drag this out or artificially inflate the number of videos I make to meet my 1 video a month goal. It's just, I don't think anybody wants to watch me doing this for an hour straight. I mean, I'm going to keep playing, but the footage I record after I save and take a break will be another episode. It's just a matter of when I get time to edit them. You know what I mean. Which reminds me, assuming I get this part edited and uploaded in maybe early March, the next video I upload after that may or may not be what I'm going to record after I save. Because later in March, I want to do a video about something mod-related that I'm planning to start working on. And speaking of mods, if you'd rather I just edit these like I edit most of my mod walkthroughs with tight cuts instead of continuous footage with fast forwarding through the slow bits, let me know in the comments. Or if you like it like this without gaps so you can follow the same path if you want to try it yourself, let me know that too. Either way works for me. It doesn't matter. You know, that editing, it's the same amount of work to edit either way, basically. Anyway, thanks for watching. And I'll see you soon.